everybody, so welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be on my MEPS experience at San Jose MEPS in California. So the first thing that I did, in my MEPS process, was I went to go stay in the Holiday Inn hotel that was a few exits away from my MEPS. It was a nice hotel, my roommate was nice, she was shipping out for the army, I drove myself. So the next morning, everyone was lining up for the bus. I got in my car and I waited for the bus to leave. I followed it to MEPS and I parked, and then I got in line in front of the MEPS building and waited to enter. So the first thing that we did was a briefing in the lunchroom area. Kind of just told us about what was gonna go on. They told us the rules. So then after that, we went to our respective liaison's office. Obviously, I went to the Air Force office. They gave us another briefing. They gave us some papers, I think, to bring with us to the medical desk where you check in. Yeah. So the first thing we did in medical was our eyesight check, or at least that's what I did. So the Air Force only had, I think, 5 people processing that day, so we got done briefing before everybody else, so then we got to go everywhere first, so it wasn't a lot of waiting around for me. I went to do my eyesight, everything was good. It was colorblind, depth perception, and vision correction because I wear glasses. So then after eyesight, we went to hearing. We sat in a booth with 6 chairs and curtains between the chairs. It was just a bunch of beeps, kind of like, I don't know if anyone's ever done a hearing test before, but it was basically just like a standard doctor visit hearing test. Nothing too difficult, nothing too complicated. I passed both the eyesight and the hearing tests. So after we did that, we went to a medical briefing where we filled out like a bubble paper about kind of our mental health, just some medical info. We had a Marine officer brief us on what was going to happen next, which was our blood test, urine test, and physical tests. We also did our breathalyzer test in that. There was like a little tube waiting on our desk and we just blew into it. And obviously no one failed because who goes to MEPS drunk? So after that brief, we went to do our blood tests. I hate needles. Like, I'm fine with tattoos and stuff, but needles aren't my thing for doctor's offices. I had to get poked twice because the nurse couldn't find the vein in my left arm. So I got stabbed right here. No fun. I absolutely hated it, but you know, you gotta do it. I gotta get used to needles too, because I know you get some shots and needles pricked into you at BMT. So after my blood test, I went and took my urine test. The way the bathroom was set up was there was 2 stalls with no doors, and there was a big mirror in front of them, and then next to this stall there was a desk, not a desk, there was like a stool where the nurse was watching me pee. So she wasn't standing right in front of me, she was kind of watching my reflection in the mirror, which I was more comfortable with because it seemed like it was not as much in person because she wasn't right there in front of me. So after I did the pee test, I went to the window where she was sitting at, because the way it was set up was there was the blood lab, and then there was like the girls' bathroom and the guys' bathroom. There were like little windows for the nurse to like do all the pee stuff, like pass it through the window and stuff, I guess. I don't know. So I stood by the window. I confirmed that no one had tampered with the bottle that my pee was going into. He did a pregnancy test. Obviously I'm not pregnant, so that was all good. They tested for sugar and I don't remember the other thing, but they tested for 2 things and I passed those too, no problem. So yeah, that's pretty much all it was for the urine. So after the urine test, I went into the big room with a bunch of chairs around it. I went and interviewed with the doctor, kind of just went over all my medical records, confirmed that everything I wrote was true. Then I came back out into the big room because the exam room was kind of connected to it. Came out into the big room, I got undressed, and girls were filing in, they got undressed, and a nurse came in and took our height and weight. My weight was fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. She also measured our tattoos, which didn't take long. I only have 2, but there were some girls that had quite a few big ones, so that took a little longer for them. This was the part where there was the most waiting because the doctor had to do individual interviews and exams. So after everyone was done with their initial interview, we came back out and we did all the exercises that everybody talks about. We did the duck walk, we did arm rotations, we did joint checks where we moved our wrist and our feet, we clenched our hands and loosened them along with our feet. We walked on our tippy toes and our heels. Nothing was hard as long as you just follow the directions. So then after we did all those exercises, we went back in, we got examined for our breasts and our down under parts. Again, like I keep saying, everything was fine for me. Not that big of a deal. I was expecting it to be more awkward than it was. Then she checked for a couple scars that I had from accidents, like from quite a while ago, just to make sure that they weren't, to confirm that they weren't self-inflicted. So yeah, after that, I went back out into the room, I got dressed, and I went to the lunchroom to get my lunch. So after I got my lunch, I went to my liaison's office. He had a list printed out of all of the jobs that I qualified for. I made a list of the ones that I already had that I wanted. So I kind of picked the ones that I qualified for off of that. I think I qualified for 6, and then there were 2 that I had on my list that I had to take a career test to like further place me to make sure that I'm more qualified for it. And then the other 2 were because I can't lift the weights enough. Like I had to lift a higher weight and I didn't because I am a little weakling when it comes to that, but I'm not like that pressed about it. Those were jobs that were kind of at the end of my list anyways. So then I signed on this electric pad verifying that everything I said was true, that they can access my medical documents if they want to, I guess. And there was another signature, but I kind of forgot what that was about, but I know there were 3. So after I went and did all that, we went to the process and fingerprint place. They gave me a survey, so the waiting wasn't as bad, but that was, forget what I said about the physical, that was the longest waiting. It was terrible. But in the process interview cubicle thing that I went into, they basically asked me in the event of my death who's responsible for my money and who's responsible for my body. We verified my social security, my address, my license number for my driver's license, a couple more things, nothing too complicated, I think just to kind of validate things. We also went over Article 83, 85, and 86, and those are about fraudulent enlistment, desertion, and going AWOL. So then after that cubicle interview thing, we went and did our fingerprints. So they had us do 4 and then our thumb and then each one rolling. So that took a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. After that, I went back to my liaison. I gave him the paperwork that the processing people gave me. He gave me 1 sheet to give to the front desk, and I swore in right after that. I had just missed the 2 o'clock swearing in, so I had to wait a whole nother hour till the 3 o'clock one. But it's okay because the room that I was in started filling up with more people that were going to be swearing in. They had a TV in the room playing a movie. I don't quite remember which movie it was, but it was entertaining enough. It passed the wait by pretty quick. So yeah, we swore in. I went back to my liaison's office just to let him know and to pick up like my personal stuff that I had brought there. Yeah, that's all it was. I feel like a lot of people make it out to be more stressful than it is, or some people just completely psych themselves out like I did. I had no problem with anything. I shouldn't have been as stressed as I was because I passed everything. I qualified for all the jobs that I really wanted. Um, so yeah, hopefully I'm going to be getting my ship date soon. So I'm kind of going back and editing this like a week after I recorded it. And I thought I'd let you guys know that as of now, I am not going to be getting a regular ship date like everybody else. I want to leave as soon as possible in August, but all the August ship dates are full, so I'm going to be quick shipping for a job that's on my list. My recruiter said that it is guaranteed to happen, so I'm just giving you guys a heads up that I'm not going to know my ship date until probably like at most a week before I leave. Super excited I got MEPS done. Yeah, just my advice going in is make sure you follow directions. Don't go where you're not supposed to go. Don't piss anybody off by doing something wrong. Be polite. It's not that hard if you have common sense, really. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching this video. You can go ahead and like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. I will continue to be posting videos about my depth calls, about my BMT packing list, about just general, maybe like I'll post a fitness tip video, just stuff like that. So yeah, thanks again for watching.